Hi everyone! Today I'm here with a review of The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. So this book is about this 18-year-old girl who's just getting married to a wealthy merchant. Everyone, servants, the husband are not very welcoming, and the husband is a bit indifferent. But then one day he gives her a wedding present, which is a cabinet-sized replica of their home. And now she goes to this miniaturist and orders some figures for her new cabinet thing. The creations of this miniaturist are eerily true. Now Nella, which is the main character, unravels some secrets about the house and the people there, and so now she doesn't know if the miniaturist is going to save them or destroy them. I had really mixed feelings about it, and I'll try to explain it why in my review. The beginning of this book really reminded me of Rebecca, how everyone was unwelcoming and the main character acted just the same as the main character in Rebecca did, and for the first couple of chapters I just thought like it's pretty much the same, but then it became completely different, so it was just the beginning. I was really happy that the cabinet appeared very quickly in the book, because it wasn't dragged, it just started going from that point, so it wasn't boring at all. And also I really liked the descriptions of those things that the miniaturist sent her. They look very much like the real objects and things like that. I just really liked those descriptions, and sometimes I wanted even more from those objects and descriptions because they were absolutely beautiful. After those objects appeared, those small figures and things, this book just sucked me in. I was so interested in it, and sometimes I couldn't even put it down because it was just very engaging and I was wondering what was happening and things like that. So things just started to pick up from that point. This book is actually much deeper than you would think from the blurb. It goes into so many things. And this book is just full of surprises. It surprises you when you least expect it. And even for the part in the last 15 pages, this book surprised me because there was another huge surprise. I was shocked with that, to be honest. And you just never know what's going to happen and how that happens. So it's very not predictable. This story is never predictable. It's just nothing gave me any thought that this would happen or this would be the way that it happened and things like that, so it was really surprising. But at some points I felt like I was up and down with my emotions towards this book. At some points I would be loving the book, some points I would be like, I don't like it. So those points that I didn't like how the main character was thinking about their sexual relationship. She was thinking about it too much in detail, and that just put me off, to be honest. I don't need to know that because this book is set in the 17th century, so it is like a historical fiction, and I just didn't want to know those details. Well, they kind of make sense, but I think they were a bit unnecessary and it just didn't fit the story in my mind. So it felt like it was more like set in nowadays, as the opposite of it being set in the 17th century. That irritated me. The other thing that put me off was I just can't deal when an animal dies, especially someone kills an animal. I can't deal with it at all, and it was described in details. It wasn't a hunt or anything, it was just this stupid person killed an animal because that person was angry or something like that. And I started crying and I had to put this book down because I couldn't deal with it anymore. So I really needed a break, and at that point I almost hated the book. So you see those points, and sometimes it just felt a bit like the characters were all of them seemed to be unlikable. Then towards the end of the book I started forming more warm feelings towards some of the characters, but not to all of them. So there wasn't any character that I would like. There was one that I liked. It was Otto, and he was an African servant. He was just sweet and nice and the most likable one, so I really liked him as a character. Also in this book, what put me off of it as well is that some business things, I just didn't understand any of it because I'm not into business. I know nothing about it, and I didn't even know if I needed to know those things, if they were relevant to the story, or I just could skip them. and I'm still not sure if it would change anything if I just skip those. I don't think so. So that was a bit boring, to be honest, at some point. So those things just put me off and made my enjoyment of the book so much lower at some points. I quite like the mystery about the miniaturist. It more like revealed in the end, but at the same time I still had some questions at the end of the book because they weren't quite answered. So I didn't feel like I understood why it was happening, how it was happening. I can't really say much at this point because then it would be a spoiler, but it really relates to the story, and the things that the miniaturist sent, they really matter to the story, so I can't really say that, but I just didn't really get the answer, or at least I can't remember it. So overall I gave this book 4 stars, but now I'm not sure about that rating, to be honest, because at the moment I've got one book by this author and I don't really want to read it because of this book. So I'm still a bit conflicted about what I felt of this book. It was really interesting, very intriguing, full of surprises. It is very unpredictable. It just sometimes holds you at the end of your seat, on the edge of your seat, because you just want to know what's happening, why it's happening and things like that. But at the same time, there were some moments which just destroyed the enjoyment, for me at least. And really those descriptions of her thoughts, what she was thinking about their sexual relationship, it just ruined it, I think, because then after those bits I felt like it wasn't really like proper literature, if you know what I mean. I was expecting it to be like a beautiful kind of story, historical fiction, but those moments ruined it, ruined the impression, for me at least. So I hope my review made sense and helped you somehow if you wanted to pick this book up or not. And if you have read this book, please let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Bye!